What is up, guys? This is the Casual Wrestling Live Hangout, where each and every week I pick one of pro wrestling's biggest topics to break down in an open discussion forum live on YouTube and TikTok. If you enjoy the channel, please support us with a Casual Wrestling YouTube membership starting at just $2.99 a month. That gets you some special badges, some special emojis. It'll get you access to the Discord, a couple other cool things. There's a couple other membership tiers you can check out. If you don't want to subscribe on a monthly basis, you can support the show through YouTube Super Chats, which will guarantee your voice is heard at the end of each episode. The new format of the show is simple. One topic a day. I take about 10 minutes to give you my initial opinions. Then you guys, the CWC, get to chime in with your thoughts and opinions in the comments and chat and let me know your thoughts on the situation. If you do miss the live stream, you can continue the conversation after the show is over by continuing to give your opinions in the comment section of the video, and I will try to respond and create engaging conversation with as many people as possible. So let's talk about it. News broke this morning that Shane McMahon has reached out to AEW per multiple sources to gauge the interest in making an appearance on AEW television. And we have to talk about it. This is something, whether this is real, whether this is complete bullshit made up by the IWC and the dirt sheets, we have to talk about this. Because the last time that we saw Shane McMahon, he had blown out both of his quad muscles at WrestleMania 39. You guys remember? He was running back and forth, running the ropes, blew out both of his quad muscles, I think, or at least blew out one of them. Looked like he got shot. Went straight down in the middle of the ring. And that's the last time that we got to have the Shane McMahon experience in a pro wrestling ring. So now, the IWC is out here buzzing. There's reports going around. The IWC is in fits this morning. You could have never guessed how much the IWC loves a McMahon until you heard the news drop that Shane McMahon wants to be a part of AEW television, that he has sent out feelers to different wrestlers, that he has, by means and ways and different channels, reached out to Tony Khan to gauge interest to see if Tony Khan would entertain the idea of having Shane McMahon in AEW. So we got to start with the obvious here, guys. I'm going to give you my first obvious opinion. Tony Khan can't do this. You can't do this, Tony Khan. You went on national television and you took a hot shit on Vince McMahon, calling him the Harvey Weinstein of the professional wrestling industry. And now you think that there's a world where you can turn around and sign the son of Harvey Weinstein to a contract in professional wrestling? Is that the most hypocritical thing ever? Like, this is why you have to be careful what you say and who you talk about and what you do, because I think there is a little bit of value in Shane McMahon going to AEW. I think there would be some shock value. There would be some ratings involved, but you can't do it now. You can't do it because of how you chose to treat this situation early on, of how you chose to address the media during the NFL draft about the situation that WWE is in, even though the McMahons are no longer a part of WWE at this point. So you're going to pretend that Shane McMahon didn't know what his dad was doing? You're going to pretend like Shane McMahon doesn't know who his dad is? Like he doesn't. I'm not saying Shane McMahon was involved in any of this. I'm not saying that Shane McMahon didn't denounce some of this behind the scenes, but he damn sure didn't come out and address it in the public, in the forefront. He didn't make it known that he didn't like what was going on. And so the reality is, if you sign Shane McMahon, you've just signed the problem. You've become a part of the issue. So you can't, with good faith, Tony Khan can't sign Shane McMahon knowing damn well he's already denounced the situation. And on the flip side, just on the flip side, let's play devil's advocate for a little bit. If you're Shane McMahon, what a D-bag move that when WWE, the company that grew up, that raised you, that your dad built from the ground up, I don't give shit what a piece of shit he is, you still grew up in this culture, in this company, to just cut ties and run off and try to join the competition in a hostile way. Just absolute D-bag move. WWE was not taken from your father. Your father chose to sell the company because he got exposed for a bunch of D-bag bullshit, right? He was then pushed out of the company because there's no way in good faith they could continue to allow him to represent the company anymore. So nobody's done anything ill towards your family, Shane McMahon, still yet. You feel the need to jump ship, to go to the other side to try to make a headline? Because we assume, Shane, you don't need the money, right? Like, we have to believe the McMahons are set. All of them. Stephanie, Triple H, Linda, Vince, they've got the money. They've got tons of stress and tons of problems that come with it, but they've got the money. So Shane McMahon's not looking for the paycheck. Or is he? Or is there something we don't know? Is there something? Have the mighty fallen off of the top of the mountain? And Shane McMahon goes, I got kids. I've got to make money. I've got to figure out a way to get back involved in this wrestling world. It blows my mind. I would think after all of the shit that has happened with your father, that this family would want to just clean their hands of professional wrestling and run as far away as they possibly could. And yet, Shane McMahon is out here dropping feelers to try to figure out if anybody wants to pay attention to him. Like, we assume that Shane doesn't need the money, right? Like, we have to assume that. That's what we have to believe. Now, what impact does Shane McMahon think that he would have on the landscape of pro wrestling? Like, in all reality, what does he think he brings to the table? Because Triple H is cooking right now. WWE is the top of the mountain. So there is no world to me right now where Shane McMahon changes the landscape of what's going on. I don't think Shane McMahon is a needle mover. But if you look at X this morning, and you look at the Facebook groups, and you look at the talking heads of the wrestling world, the IWC, you see them right now already going on record claiming this is the biggest disruption to professional wrestling that we have ever seen. Biggest disruptor to what? What is Shane McMahon disrupting? Because it's not the casual audience. It's not that. We talk about it. We talk about this number, guys. That 80% of the audience is not paying attention to what Shane McMahon does on a weekly basis. 20% is. The IWC definitely is. The IWC is definitely the ones who are honed in on this. They will pay attention, but this is not moving casual wrestling fans. Like, AEW is just using this to dig up headlines. They're trying to use it for a cheap pop. I think it's a terrible idea. I think it has shock value. Don't get me wrong. This comes straight out of the Tony Khan playbook. Bring a new guy in, big name, gets a big pop, and then what do you do? What do you do after that? After that, the questions become, well, why are you associating with a McMahon? Why are you associating with people that you denounced a couple months ago? It's what Tony Khan does. Tony Khan likes to play to the IWC fan base. He likes to dangle little treats in front of them. And it, to me, it really never makes sense. Here's like, the reality is, what are we going to do with Shane McMahon? Right? He debuts. He comes out. He talks his shit. But what are you going to do? Does he fight Darby Allin? Like, do you go Forbidden Door? The ultimate Forbidden Door. Shane McMahon has walked through, and now it's Darby Allin versus Shane McMahon. Casual fans aren't watching that. Guys, casual fans are not watching that. We're not clamoring for the return of a McMahon unless it's Stephanie. And even then, I don't know that we want a ton of Stephanie McMahon. Like, we're okay seeing her every once in a while, but we let Triple H cook. We're not calling for Shane McMahon. Nobody's out here going, damn, if I could just get one more Shane McMahon match, I would feel so good. Like I said, Shane McMahon, he grabs headlines. Week one, Shane McMahon comes out. There's going to be the big push from the IWC all over the internet where they're screaming, oh my God, they got a McMahon. Yeah, you got the bootleg McMahon. That's fine. You got the bootleg. You got the one that nobody pays attention to. You got him. Cool, great. Headlines are there. But does anybody remember Shane McMahon's terrible booking ideas a couple years ago around Royal Rumble where he just absolutely kind of put a halt to everything that was going on in WWE. Like, he's not a guy who changes the landscape of wrestling. He's not a guy with just this wealth of knowledge that makes, that's just a difference maker when he steps in the building. He's actually a pretty divisive guy, and I think he's somebody who actually would probably cause confusion and some morale issues in the back, because there's probably people like Mercedes Moné that was like, hey, I came here to get away from these fucking McMahons. I came here to get away from these McMahons, and now you're bringing them into my... Look, if we get Shane, how long is it really before they decide, what? Let's try Vince. Let's try Vince out. If Shane worked and Shane got us headlines, what would happen if we brought Vince McMahon in? Like, that is the thinking of Tony Khan. It's purely about the headline and not about the overall picture. To me, this is ultimately what happens. This is what happens in pro wrestling when Tony Khan runs out of legitimate surprises. He starts reaching down into that gross kind of moldy part of the barrel, and he's just looking for, at this point, I think Tony Khan's, he's just looking for ratings. He just needs a way to get people talking. And I think Shane McMahon, it feels like he's just desperate enough because the reality is, let's be honest, Tony Khan's not reaching out to Shane McMahon. That's not the headline here. The headline here is that Shane McMahon has sent out feelers to AEW. Now, I'm inclined to believe that Tony Khan is taking that call. He's listening. He's at least going to explore these options. But if Tony Khan if he even entertains this idea, he's reaching into that barrel. He goes, we're competing with NXT now. Because that's the reality, right? The reality is it's AEW and it's NXT. And they're in a ratings battle. It used to be, the conversation from the IWC used to be, it's WWE main roster and it's AEW. We're not having those conversations. Those conversations are dead and gone. The IWC has reserved itself now to having the arguments about NXT versus AEW, which I think is absolutely hilarious, that you're wrestling with the slogan, this is where the best wrestle, but you're competing with the developmental brand of the WWE. That's hilarious to me. But Tony Khan, the delusion that he lives in, he will reach into that barrel again. He will reach into that gross part of the barrel again to pull out ratings, to pull out, if I can get a Darby Allin versus a Shane McMahon at Forbidden Door, I get the ratings. I get that 2-week window where the IWC just showers me with praise again. But it's not the casuals. The casual fans are not paying attention. Tony Khan has to restructure, has to refocus, has to figure out moves that get the casual wrestling fans. And I don't want to go too off topic, but we've got MJF wrestling some guy I've never even heard of at Forbidden Door. This is what happens in AEW when Tony Khan panics. This is what happens. To be honest, I hope Shane McMahon somehow gets signed by AEW. I hope that Tony Khan figures out a way to make this all come together, because I think this is a beautiful proof of concept. This is one of those moments where we can see very quickly failed experiments. This is one of those moments where very quickly we get to see that everything that I've been saying is right. Casual fans are not paying attention. What you will see, it's very formulaic, right? Week 1, Shane McMahon shows up. You have a spike in ratings because we all grab a TV remote, we turn it on, and we go, oh shit, there's Shane McMahon. Cool. What does he do? Nothing. Turn it back off. We're back. We're going back to watch what we wanted to watch anyway. Shane doesn't move the needle for the casual wrestling fan. So like I said, sign him, Tony Khan. Let's see what this does. Let's put the proof, let's see your booking prowess here and show me this moves the needle, and then I'll shut up. But I don't believe right now that this moves the needle for the casual wrestling fan, right? This is strictly a move made to play to the IWC. This is strictly a move playing to his base audience. This is that core group of 600,000 fans that Tony Khan has. That is, I'm telling you guys, what people don't understand, that 600,000, that is the IWC. That is the cap. Anytime he gets over that number, he's done something to pull in another portion of the audience. People like Mercedes Moné can take that 600,000 and she can elevate it up to 700,000 to 800,000 because she can drive a little bit of the casual audience over. Shane McMahon's not doing that. Shane McMahon on a long-term basis is not bringing over casual wrestling fans. Agree or disagree? Let me know. A couple things to bring up here. Doobie brought up he brings nothing but shitty storylines involving himself, just wants the attention. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's the same thing I'm saying, Doobie, is that if Shane, if he needs the money, more power to him. If you need the money, go do your thing. But if this is just a ego boost, is this just a shot in the arm for Shane McMahon because he sees an opportunity to get his name in the lights? That feels like what Shane McMahon does. Doobie then says, Joe Henry's entrance got more pops and reactions overall compared to Will Ospreay, Mercedes Moné, and other shitty wrestlers signed by him. So we can have this. I'm happy to have this conversation because I watched the Joe Henry segment. Same thing. I saw the same thing. This is what, but Doobie, this is what the IWC doesn't understand. This is what these guys don't understand. Is that, and someone said it. Who was it? It might have been Jeff Hardy came out and said that AEW is only worried about 5-star matches and not the story. Joe Hendry is prime example. A guy in TNA who went on TikTok, created a song, created this whole just mass kind of hysteria about himself, then shows up in NXT and it carried over because he reached the casual audience. He tapped into that 80% that exists. Tony Khan doesn't know how to tap into that 80%. That is his biggest drawback, is that he doesn't know how to reach that 80% of the audience, the casual wrestling audience, the ones that are represented by this show and there's other shows, the ones who are not on the internet typing in New Japan Pro Wrestling, the ones who don't watch Forbidden Door. I don't know 20% of the people in Forbidden Door this year. That's insane to me. That is absolutely insane to me. DJ Wavy D, what's up, man? Shane is a clown and Stephanie was always the better child. We just didn't realize it before. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. I was saying earlier, I don't know that I don't know that we want any McMahons really involved in wrestling anymore. I think we're comfortable, like I said, we're comfortable seeing Stephanie show up every so often and being a part of the cog that is WWE right now, but I don't think we want any McMahon in a prime role anymore. Triple H is cooking. He's doing his thing. We don't need any more McMahons, but you're definitely right. Shane is the clown. Shane is the circus clown. Shane's the one that ran off, did his other thing, came back, and needed to insert himself into the spotlight. He doesn't understand he needs to be supplemental to wrestling, and at this point, his time has come and passed. Doobie, what's up, man? 5-star matches don't fill seats. It doesn't increase the market. You let me know when your match in New Japan Pro Wrestling main event that lasted 1 hour between Okada, Will Ospreay, and others. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. This is what I'm talking. So this is what I keep saying. There's 600,000. The number's there, guys. It's tangible. You can look at AEW's ratings and see there are 600,000 IWC members that will watch and cheer for anything that Tony Khan puts on that involves their IWC darlings. It's just, that's reality, right? And then you have Dave Meltzer who feeds it with 5-star ratings and things like this. But the reality is that doesn't sell tickets. We have proof, guys. We have proof it doesn't sell tickets. There's nobody, they can't fill up the stands. If Will Ospreay is so good, fill up the stands, Will. People should come to see you. People see things that are entertaining. The problem is the eye test doesn't work, right? 5-star matches don't sell t-shirts. It just doesn't, guys, I have 2 kids. I have a kid in middle school and I have a kid in elementary school. And I have to go to these functions, right? I have to go to graduations. I have to go to the library. I have to go do these things. And I see John Cena t-shirts. I see Cody Rhodes t-shirts. I see Becky Lynch t-shirts. I've never walked into an elementary school and seen one Will Ospreay shirt. Never. And if I did, it's probably the little smelly kid in the corner picking his nose. But I've never seen it. That's the reality is 5-star matches don't sell. They don't move tickets. They don't sell. 5-star matches are Circus Soleil. Like, I don't know. Are the IWC just big fans of Las Vegas and Circus Soleil? Like, when WrestleMania goes to Las Vegas, are we going to see this huge spike in Circus Soleil tickets because the IWC's there to see a bunch of like 5'7" guys flip around in tights? That has to be a thing, right? But yeah, like I said, continue the conversation in the comment section of this video. Make sure, if you want to support the channel, join the Casual Wrestling YouTube membership. It is just $2.99, guys. It gets you access to special badges, special emojis, and access to the Discord. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today. As always, I am Nerdy D. You guys are the Casual Wrestling Faction. Tomorrow is Champ and the Chick with Lauren, so make sure to check that out. We will be live at 1 p.m. Central Time, and we will talk more pro wrestling with you guys tomorrow.